up, guys? JB here. Today we are going to discuss initial thoughts of the Fowler Vanta 9. And this is not going to be a deep dive, a thorough review, anything like that. I've got about 3,500 rounds on this. At about 10,000 I'll probably revisit this, but just wanted to give some thoughts on this thing out of the box. So this is the 5-inch full grip, obviously Fowler Vanta 9. I went with the non-iron sights version, and I swapped the plate to the, I think it's ShyTac Systems Delta Point Pro plate so that I could put the Defender XL on it, and we'll talk about that Optic plate in a minute. Observations out of the box, and this is not a comparison video, but I've had some other high-end 2011s and built a handful on my own that obviously weren't at that level, but things that I noticed were the tolerances. So out of the box, this thing, again, it's got about 3,500 rounds, but out of the box, the slide would stop about there because of how tight the barrel to slide and grip to frame fit was. Just very, very tight out of the box. Accuracy is what you would expect because of that. Obviously 5-inch bull barrel, it is fluted. That does seem to hold some lube in there. Once you lube the gun up, it seems to stay running a little bit longer. I've run this about 1,000 rounds at a time without lubing it, and I've had zero issues. I'm not somebody who comes out and cleans their stuff a bunch, so that's been really good for me. Camo pattern from the factory, had guys ask about that. This is from Fowler. Got it from Portside, and the guys there worked out a trade with me because originally what I could find was a steel grip and I wanted aluminum. So they had this with the Valentine grip, which is what I was looking for, and we're able to work out a trade. So slide to barrel fit super tight, barrel's fluted on the barrel hood and on the front. I think the recoil spring is 11 or 12 pounds. It's fairly heavy, and normally I like lighter springs, but I ran this and I tried out the lighter springs. The spring that's in it from the factory returns very, very well. Returns the best out of all the ones that I checked out, so that's what I'm keeping in there. If you look at the slide release, slide lock lever, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't stick out a ton. To me, it's pretty much the perfect size that my support hand thumb lands on it, and I can drop the slide. Okay. Moving back to the grip, again, this is the Valentine grip. This is aluminum. And the thing that stands out the most to me with this versus some of the other offerings on the market is the amount of time that you can tell they took to clean this thing up. So every rough edge on the trigger guard, anything that would have been sharp is beveled, is cleaned up. The undercut of the grip is awesome. Feels very, very good in your hand. There's no rough spots, no sharp spots, absolutely anywhere on this thing. Okay. The safety has a really nice shape to it. It's kind of curved, thumb lands right how I want it. It's not something I notice or don't notice, which is what I'm looking for. I don't really want to be aware of that safety. As I'm coming out of the holster, it activates and deactivates just how I want it to. So let's talk about everybody's favorite part, the trigger. Okay, this is kind of interesting in this gun. So the Atlas I had before this, I liked the trigger because it was very light. It was actually like 1.5 pounds when I got it. My Atlas was having hammer follow. When I was shooting 10, 11, 12 splits, after a couple mags, I would start getting hammer follow, so I turned it up to about 2 pounds. This trigger out of the box was right about 3 pounds. Try and get a good angle here. It was about 3 pounds, which is a little bit heavier than what I wanted, so I played with it. Sorry, Fowler, but took it apart, tuned it, and it's right at 2 pounds right now, and it's holding steady. I've had zero issues at about 3,500 rounds. So looking at this, the shape of the trigger is flat, and it is serrated, I guess. There's little ridges on the trigger, which feels really good. It is a wide, flat trigger, which is what I like. It feels really good in your hand. And that is your pre-travel, okay? Very, very little pre-travel. Brake is very, very clean. And the thing that stuck out with this trigger is the reset. As soon as I let any pressure off, it kicks the finger forward, and the trigger's reset. Don't think it gets much better than that, period. The other thing with the trigger in this gun is there is zero play, very, very minimal wobble or play, nothing up and down. And with guns that I had prior, I could wobble that trigger up and down and back and forth. Yeah, not what you would expect with something that's that high end. So really, really happy with that. Going back to the Optic plate, This thing is mounted with 4 screws underneath. So if you take the Optic off, there's 4 screws holding the plate to the slide, and then there's this little ledge here, you can tell, behind the barrel, and the front of the plate slides underneath that ledge, and then that set screw on top pushes down on the plate. It is absolutely the most secure plate I've ever seen. One, using 4 screws, and then 2, having that plate that shoves down, or that screw rather, that pushes down on the plate to keep it on the slide. I haven't seen anything else like that. It's pretty cool. And then again, I think it's Chi-Tac Systems, Stuffs and Pews, pointing me their direction. Really like the plate that they have for the Defender XL Delta Point Pro plate. Shoves the Optic all the way to the rear, which is what I like a lot. Shout out to 1171. He's been doing that forever, and I use his plates on pretty much everything else. Finishing up, the grip itself, texture's really good. The biggest thing I like about this grip that a lot of the other aluminum grips don't do, that I've never seen one that does outside of this, Chiles, Atlas, if you get the angle wrong with the mag, and I've had guys say, well, it only does it with unloaded mags. I have absolutely done it. Maybe it's just me, maybe those guys are better than me, but I've absolutely done it where I've gone to shove the mag in and I've had the angle wrong, and the mag will bind and I will have to rip it back out and put it back in. Okay, these will not bind on mags, period. They just won't. If you look at it, the reason why that is because, if I can get this to show up, is because they have gone in and opened up anywhere where that would bind. The back of this, they've opened up and almost kind of scalloped all 4 corners, the back and the front. So you get your angles wrong while you're reloading, it is going to funnel the mag into the grip like it should. Okay, ejector does not hit, will not touch the mag, even if I hold the mag release and shove it in there. Another cool thing, so you don't have to worry about that. I think that's about it, guys. Initial thoughts, obviously like it a lot, like it over some other options that I've had. Would like to get a ported one eventually, but we'll see how that goes. So I'll keep you guys posted. Really liking the Defender XL. Shout out to Vortex for that. They did send me a couple of these to check out, and I've been really happy with that giant window. This is the 5 MOA. I'll probably switch to the 2. I think it's 2 or 3 MOA. I'll probably switch to that long term, but really liking it. Top mounted battery, pops out really easy. And yeah, I think that's about it. I'll check back in with you guys. We get about 10,000 rounds and see if anything new pops up, but I don't really see that happening. Okay, Fowler Vanta 9. Yeah, that's all I got for now. See ya. I take that back. One more thing, because guys will ask. This will fit a couple different holsters. So this Safariland Level 2, this is the 6354 RDS 1582. It's for Staccato P. Okay, I take out the light plug on all my holsters because brass ends up in there, and I'm not crawling through whatever. I'm not worried about mud getting on the bottom of my light. I'm worried about not being able to holster my gun. So took that out, and I actually chopped down the little block that's in there. Fits. Okay, even the Defender fits without having to heat it. I didn't have to do anything to it. Fits, comes right out, lockup's perfect. Okay, if you don't want to chop that, get the 5-inch the Safariland version for the 5-inch Staccato, and it'll fit. I've got one of those and it fits perfectly. This is just something I can use with my Staccato P and still use this, and there's not a ton of slop when I use my Staccato. Okay, so do the holster, Safariland, good to go. Locks up super tight. AIWB Tier 1 Apex for the Staccato P. Locks up good. Okay, obviously this is a 5-inch barrel, so you will get a little bit sticking out there, but if you want to get one holster, a lot of times guys I have 2011s have multiple. This will fit Staccato P. This is for the X300. I can't tell you if it will fit without the light if you have one for the non-light bearing, but it absolutely fits in the Staccato P X300 holster. So that's what I'm running for now. I'm going to check out one of the TXCs here soon. But if you need a holster, it'll fit Staccato, or a Safariland rather, for Staccato, and it'll fit the Tier 1 with X300 for Staccato.